Hello. Today I'm going to take you through a slightly more thorough introduction to routine to make sure that you have all the information that you need to cover, review, analyze basically routine so that you understand how people use it. So the first thing about routine is capturing information. Most tools require you to basically stop what you're doing, switch to their tool, maybe click a few buttons to navigate in them, to finally click the right button to save a new information. Routine has been designed to save information very quickly, both on desktop and on mobile. So let's say here I'm on desktop, so macOS, Windows, or Linux, so you have to install routine on one of those platforms. We have a hotkey which you can configure here in hotkeys here, which is to open or close the dashboard. So what is this? Well, basically here, if I press the hotkey in question, you will see an overlay appearing on top of everything that you have on your computer. And this overlay displays the task of the day, the upcoming events, and in the middle, a console. So let me insist. This overlay works everywhere. You don't have to be on routine. So let me switch here. I'm on my browser. And if I do the same thing, you will see this appearing the same way. So I don't have, again, to switch to routine every time. I could be in a conference call. I could be watching a movie, whatever. If something pops into my mind, I have access to see what's happening in routine, but also I can quickly input something. So let me show you. The most easy thing would be called mom. Press enter, and that's it. So underneath, what happened is that obviously a task got created and it was saved in the inbox, as you can see here. Now, this console can do a lot more. So let me go back again. I could say something like call John this time, but I can actually plan this task. I can use natural language to go faster. I could say today, or I could say tomorrow, or let's say in 3 days, something like this. But even more, I can apply a label with the hashtag or a priority like this. So here, call John would be a task created and planned for 3 days. In 3 days, work and high. If I do this and I go in 3 days, here I can see, I had done the same thing before, but you can see here high and work. So really fairly easy. You can do this very quickly. One thing that I do personally constantly is do something and I want to do it today, so today, that's it. And you can see this appearing here. So it's really straightforward to do that. Now the inbox is really the central place for basically we call it the universal inbox because it gathers and it aggregates all of your notifications and things that require attention from all of the apps that you use. The way we do this is through integration. So if you go to settings and integrations, you will see a bunch of integrations, some specific to calendar, other to task, other to contacts, etc. And if you use task integrations, for instance, or Gmail, Slack, or Todoist, etc., those will be represented as tasks coming from those integrations. And so everything ends up in your inbox. Not only the tasks that require attention, which is you need to plan them. If I plan it, it disappears from my inbox because I've taken an action on them. But also, as you can see, your meetings, your meeting invitation. So you need to accept the meeting and that's it. It disappears from your inbox. So really your inbox can play the central role for checking everything in your life. Now let's talk about the agenda, which is, in my opinion, the most important screen in routine. It features the task of the day, as you can see, you can remove that one, and the events that really matter to you. Not all the events from all of your calendars, but all the events from the calendars that represent your time, which we call active. If you go to settings and calendars, you will see that you can have active calendars and passive calendars, and you can drag from one to the other very easily. So the active calendars represent your time. So usually your personal calendar, your professional calendar, whereas the passive calendars are things that you need to see to plan, maybe your managers or your boss, whatever calendar, but not necessarily, you don't really need to see them on a daily basis. So back to the agenda, which is great because you see only the events that matter to you, plus all the tasks that you decided to do today. From that point, you can very easily replan a task. And again, you can use natural language. You could say tomorrow, but you can also use the keyboard shortcuts, because you have keyboard shortcuts for every action. So Command L, for instance, to replan very quickly to tomorrow. That would be something to do. But really what makes the agenda really, really powerful, it's the ability to interact between tasks and events. So let me show you. Let's say this task you would like to work on during your deep work session here. You can take the task, you drag it, you drop it inside deep work, and that's it. Maybe this task as well, you would like to work it during that time, so you can concentrate that work during a period of time. And likewise, this task, you really need to work on it for a dedicated period of time. So you're going to block time in your calendar, maybe for 2 hours. So what you've done here is that you have created an allocation, you allocated time for that task. In practice, an event is created, it's bidirectionally synchronized with your calendar, so let's say Google Calendar, but it's marked as private and busy so that nobody, your colleagues for instance, nobody can see what you are really doing. They only see that you are not available. Now back to the deep work, if I open it, you will see the 2 tasks, which is great because again, you know what you have to do. Okay, so that's basically an overview of the agenda. Really great for focusing on your day. It's one of the screen that people love the most. You also have other sections like overdue, upcoming, etc., which you can use if you want. You can change day at the top or switch to a specific day very quickly. The calendar looks very simple. It's a full-fledged calendar that aggregates all the events from all of your calendars, but it's actually more than this. As you can see, you can change the layout, you can zoom in, zoom out, you can add some time zones if you want. But what really sets it apart is that you can see all of your tasks at the bottom for all of your days. And you can also, at the left, on the left side, you can see the task of the week. So let me explain what that means. Basically here, you saw that we can pick a day when you reschedule or pick a week, maybe something that you didn't see. What it means is that if you pick a day, it means you're going to work on that task on that day. But if you pick a week, it's the equivalent of snoozing that some tools provide, which means I don't know exactly when I'm supposed to work on that task, but approximately I would like to get it done during that week. If I select the current week, the task disappears from the day, but it lands in the task of the week. And from that point, it's great for people who are more weekly planners, where they can see all the tasks of the week at the beginning of the week, and they can decide what to do with it. And it could be blocking time, or it could be planning for a specific day. If you block time, know that you can also, you can move it around if you want to, but you can also move it and press the Option key to duplicate, to basically say, I need more time. So here I've allocated time here and another time here. If I open the task, you will see those 2 allocations here. Next, the calendar. Again, if you don't want to use those, you can just hide those sections and that's fine. Next, we've got the task sections, which are a summary of all of your tasks: unplanned, recurrences, upcoming. So fairly easy, but great to see what's going on just related to your task. The notes sections allows you to create pages. A page is the same thing as a page in Google Doc or Notion or any other tool like this. It's basically a way to take notes on the topic of your choice, which is personal, work, whatever, you name it the way you want. But the reason why it has been added to Routine is because we wanted to allow users to take notes without having to switch to another tool. The problem with task management tools like Todoist, Things, etc., is that those tools only handle tasks, which means that whenever you just want to remember something which is not actionable, you need to switch to Apple Notes, Google Doc, whatever, which is really frustrating if you just want to remember something small without having to open another tool. So that was the idea. Allow people to take notes. And as you can see, you can link like this to another page or another thing. You have code blocks, you can upload or embed stuff. You can really do many things, in particular with the slash menu, as you can see. Now, the beauty of Routines Note is that it's not just about pages. Basically, in Routine, every entity, every object, as we call them, have notes. If I take a task, I can take notes. I can press enter, I can say, I don't know, description, and you can say that this is a description of the task. Or I can say, I can add a call out to say, this is crucial. Whatever I want to take as a note. The same is true for meetings. I can take notes on my meeting. I could say, I don't know, agenda, blah, 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 something like this, and then action items. And here I could either use a checklist to say those are the action items, or, and that's another beauty in Routine, is that you can create objects anywhere in Notes. So I could say task, call, or come back to Designer instead. Now this looks like a checkbox as you would find again in Notion or Dropbox Paper, Google Doc, etc. But in Routine, it's not a checkbox, it's a full-fledged task. If I plan it, let's say, to tomorrow, and I go back to the agenda and to tomorrow, I will see come back to Designer as a task coming from this event. And if I click, I'm being brought back to the event in question. What I mean is that it's a lot more. Everything is interconnected. We can create anything anywhere, and anything can actually have more notes, which can again add, contain more things. So basically this task, I could open it further to take more notes, but also create more tasks. So it really never ends. It's a nesting structure of objects, basically. So that's for the pages. You can use pages, but again, notes anywhere, including in your contacts. I can take notes on contacts as well, including tasks again. So it's really always the same thing. You can also organize in label, as I showed you when I created the first task, but the labels apply to everything, not just task in most tools. In Routine, you can see the task, the events, the pages, and the contacts, all with the label. So it's really easy to have an overview of everything that you've connected to a label. That covers the crux of Routine, but you can do a lot more. Again, the integrations, which I've shown already, which allows you to aggregate everything in Routine. That's the first thing, but I won't cover that extensively. I already showed you that you had tasks coming from integrations like Notion, Gmail, or Notion, which I think I had somewhere, maybe in the calendar. Where was it? Here, yes, you can see here. Now, the second thing to cover is the types. So when you start using Routine, it comes pre-packaged with types. So again, it sounds complicated, but it's basically a type of entity that you want to manipulate. So what it means that by default, you have the notion of task, but you also have the notion of event and calendar, or person, or page. Those are all the things that I've just covered so far. But then you could decide to create more, because maybe you want to actually track, I don't know, blog posts, bookmarks, candidates, customer, movie, project, whatever you want. It's really up to you. Let's say I'm a book nerd and I want to track all the books in my system, the one that I've read, the one that I'm currently rereading, and the one that I would like to read in the future. And I'm going to pick an emoji, book, and I'm going to add a property. So by default, you can see there is a title, the title of the book, some notes because I want to take notes, but I could remove it if I wanted to. And I'm going to add a select for representing the status. Let's say to read, in progress, and read. or completed to maybe have some diversity. I'm going to do this, create it, and that's it. I've got a new book collection. If I click it, I'm being brought to the collection of books, which is obviously empty for now. I can create a new one, book A, like this, very easily. I can also use the main plus new button to create a new book, book B, or the same thing. Something else that you can do, which is really powerful, is pin. You can pin it to your menu, reorganize it. That's your personal organization. This way it's always accessible in your menu. Now there is another way to create an object like this, is through the dashboard console. So again, remember, I can open it anywhere, and I could say book C as, and use the as keyword to select a type as book. If I do this, then I'm creating a new book, which as you can see lands here. So it's really great whenever I'm again in a meeting or doing something else. If I want to create something in my system, I can do it very quickly, no matter what type of information it is. So I could say book D as book, and I could even press Command Enter or Control Enter on Windows to create it and open it, so that I'm being brought to routine to maybe add more information like the status or whatever I wanted to. And so that's it. I've got my collection of books. Again, I can add more information if I wanted to, like the author, or even link it through a relation to something else. Which brings me to, again, the types, which is the default types. You can enhance those types by adding more information. For instance, here what I've done is that I've created a relation to another type, a relation to the project type. The project type being another type that I had created before, which is nothing more than a title, note, a status, and another relation, which is a detail. What it means is that now, whenever I've got a task, I can open it, I can see the allocation, the labels, and the priorities, but I can also set a project. And that is really what makes it interesting. Now, even more, I could say I'm going to open the collection of project or the project in question. Let's say the collection here. I can see all of my projects, and I could open one project, let's say project C, and in the project C, in the notes, I could create a view, which is a way to visualize data in routine. So I'm going to pick a type. I'm going to say I want to see all of my tasks. So it's going to list all of my tasks. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, but that's not what's interesting. What's interesting is that then you can say, I want to filter to keep only the task that relates to project C. And now I start to have something a bit more meaningful. And then you can start doing things like grouping, to say I want to group them by status, so that I can see things like project management, basically. And then you could say, I'm going to hide the status from the line because it's already listed here. And then finally, you could even say, I want to see it as a Kanban board. You could do that. It's fairly simple. The point is that you have your data in routine. You can create relations to link between the different types, including the default types, and then you can visualize on top in the manner that is really meaningful to you. And again, you could pin that project to your menu here so that it's always accessible. So basically what I've done here is that I've created project management based on my task by just adding the ability to link a task to a project. So if I take another task like this one, and I say I'm going to link it to project C instead of project A, now project, the task here is here and lands and is in to-do. So again, a great way to enhance the basic task management capabilities of routine. Now let's talk about AI. Maybe one more thing before is organization. So you can collaborate in routine by creating an organization, let's say Acme. Then you can invite people, then you can create multiple workspaces, maybe to distinguish between different projects or different departments in your organization. And then from that point, again, you have the integrations, you have the types, etc., etc., etc. It's basically the same experience. So think of it as Todoist. You can create teams in Routine as well. It's more advanced in Routine because you can divide into workspaces, and you have, again, different types, not just tasks, but it's a basic idea. Now back to AI, which is the final thing I wanted to cover. AI comes in different functionalities. The first one is meeting recording. You can record meetings here, all about, and if you do, it will generate a summary in your notes. But know that in the meetings tabs here in settings, you can even define things like, do you want to be reminded of meetings coming 1 minute before, or do you want to detect meetings, which is if you join Zoom or Google Meet, for instance, it will detect that and offer you to record the meeting automatically, or even auto-record the meeting once you open the meeting, which would be you open it, it's in progress, it's going to start the meeting itself. And the final thing is for the meetings here is that you can even define your own prompt to specialize it if you want to basically generate the meeting notes that you want. So that's for the meeting recording. Other things that I didn't cover are the plugins, because you can have a menu bar widget at the top, which is hidden here because I've got too many. Contextual capture, which I didn't cover, which is the ability to capture where a task is coming from. Here you can see blah blah, and I can capture the context, which is the link. If I go to the inbox, I will see the link, which is here, Routine. If I click, I'm being brought back to the website, which is great for, again, capturing more context. And the MCP server, which we are going to launch very soon. Now back to AI, I covered meeting recording, but it's not all. You have an assistant. The assistant is basically ChatGPT or Claude, but integrated into Routine. So it could be like, what do I have on my plate today? Something like this. So fairly simple, you can ask it anything regarding all of your organizations and workspaces, your tasks, your pages, your meetings, all of that it has access to. If you don't want to use it, fine, you can even hide it in the menu here. If you go to menu, you can hide everything. If you don't want to see it, just hide it. But if you do, it's always available. Where is it here? Sorry. Now, back to the assistant. You can chat with it. You can see it's going to show you everything that it has today, the task, the events, etc. And it's going to flag stuff. But what's really powerful with Routine is that you can even do more with agents. Agents are in each of your organizations. Agents are basically a way to supercharge with specialized AI workers. So I've got one already here, Maria, which I pinned to my menu, which are basically granting you additional functionalities for social media, executive assistants, sales, or whatever. For each of your agents you can chat with to ask specific things or ask them to do something specific. You can also configure them. And that's really where it becomes interesting, is that you can link, okay, you can add information, like whenever creating an event, name it with an emoji or blah, blah, blah. You can give them some preferences. You can also use links to say, basically take into account that the content of that page. And in that page, you can add more information and it will basically read it, to integrate it and behave according to the information in those pages as well. So it's great for having a database of skills or a database of preferences, which is what I've done here. And so in my agent, I can tell it basically here, use my calendar's preference, so that every time you're planning something, it will know how to behave based on my preferences. And I could say, my main calendar is blah, 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 my Calendly link is blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. It allows to basically properly define your preferences and link those preferences to your agents, which means that if you have more agents, you can link to the same thing. So let's say I've got Bob, I'm going to enable Bob, and same thing I could say for Bob, use my calendar's preferences. And so I only have one place to put my calendar preferences, and if I update my calendar preferences, all the agents are going to automatically update to take those preferences into account. Now, as you probably saw, every agent can have automations. I can create new automations to do different things. Let me show you. I'm going to open travel times. So there are three types of triggers. Manual, which is I run the automation manually. Recurrent, which is every Monday at 1 a.m. or whatever. And react, which is when something happens in routine or in one of the integrations. So it could be whenever there is a new event for created, updated, or deleted. Basically here it's going to say if there is a physical location in the event in question, create a 30-minute travel time before and after. And that's just something simple to add, and is going to be possible with just this simple prompt in routine. Now, the beauty of the automations is that they automatically inherit the configuration of the agents. So if you have something specific about calendar events, it is going to automatically understand those preferences in the automation in question. So if I summarize AI, you have meeting recording on one side, you have the assistant, which is your kind of ChatGPT in routine, and then you have agents, which are specialized workers, and then you have automations which allow you to automate many things in routine based on the agent's configuration. That's basically it for routine. I don't want to take more time. I know it's already very thorough. I hope you will like it and it will give you enough information to cover, analyze routine as you want, or even just use it for yourself. Thank you.